Hi everybody, it's Keren here from tuppencecoloured.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today is an inspiring blog challenge day. Now if you don't know what that is, well, I'll tell you. I belong to a group of Stampin Up demonstrators, and once a month we take it in turns to set a challenge. So it could be a particular theme, it could be a colour, it could be use a particular sketch, and we all make something based around the challenge theme, and then we all post our blogs at the same time. And if you start in one, so you can start in my blog, there's a link in the description box below, then you just hop your way around the blog until you've seen what everybody has been up to. So the theme this time is Secret Santa, and the idea of this is that we're each going to make something that we would use to put a Secret Santa gift into. So I went out to the pound shop because the work team I belong to, we set ourselves a limit of £1 for a Secret Santa gift, and I got this rather sweet little manicure set. And okay, for £1, you know, the tools are not of the highest quality, but you know, it's very pretty, and would be nice in somebody's handbag and could come in handy in the event of an emergency. So I am going to go and make myself a little box to put this in. I usually start my videos by showing you the supplies that I've used to make my project, but today I'm kind of making it up as I go along, so I will tell you what I'm using as I come to it. Now I have measured my Secret Santa gift, and I do know that to make it I need a box, a finished box that is going to be 4.5 inches by about 3 inches, and that would be a nice generously sized box. So I've cut myself a piece of card that is 8.25 inches by 7.5, and I'm going to start on the 8.25 inch side, and I'm going to make a score line at 3/4 of an inch, because that's the other depth, the other dimension that I measured was the depth of the box, and I reckon I'm going to need something that is 3/4 of an inch for it to fit in. So on the long side I'm measuring at 3/4 of an inch, then at 3.75 of an inch, then 4.25 inches, sorry, 4.5 inches, that's right, and then at 7.5 inches, that's right, yeah, yes, that's right. And I will put all the measurements onto my blog, so don't worry about writing these down. I'll put the measurements, and I will put the cutting diagram that will all go onto my blog. Okay, so on this side I'm going to score at 3/4 of an inch and 1.5 inches. I'm going to spin it down and score at 3/4 of an inch and 1.5 inches. Okay, so that is my scoring done. My notes flying onto the floor. So here is my cutting and folding diagram, and I can see that from that I want to cut away this little square, this long piece, and this little square, and then I just want to kind of what's the word, just angle my final cut there. Okay, so I'm just going to actually no, I'm going to leave that straight, because what I think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to use my a corner rounder in there, so I'm going to leave that straight. Now for this one I need to cut away these two skinny squares at the corner here and chop that out. Okay, so now I need to flip it round, and I need to do the same thing on the other side. So chop away, and it would be better if I'd had my big scissors. That would have been nice, wouldn't it? could still go and get them, but you know what, I don't think I'm going to. Okay. So now I have this shape, and I'm going to just free up, oops, these flaps. Keep that straight. Cut away those flaps. And this last one, just fold it over and get two for the price of one. Okay. So that has finished my basic box shape. I'm going to tighten this bit here up. Okay. So this next bit's optional. If you don't do it, then right, the next bit's optional, but if you don't do it, you want to trim this flap a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I've got a corner rounder punch here, and I'm just going to round off the corners. I haven't done a terribly good job there. Okay, let's try again. See, I knew I should have got the Stampin' Up one. Okay. I've put tear and tape along these two flaps. I'm just going to take the backing off the tape with my handy little spatula tool. I'm just going to fold that over. Now you don't have to do this bit, you could just cut those flaps off, but I do like things to have a nice finished appearance, and it does make the box just a little bit stronger, and I think it makes it look a little bit more professional as well. And then I have tear and tape on this flap, and I'm just going to fold that over and bring this piece into play, just like so. And that is the box. The construction of the box itself is now complete. So all I need to do is to decorate it. I should have said, but I didn't, that this is shaded spruce that I've made my box out of. I have a piece of the Merry Merlot Designer Series paper from the 6x6 neutral stack, and I've cut this to 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, so that it's just a little bit smaller than my box. And I'm going to stick this down with my favourite liquid adhesive. Snail would be perfect for this. I just happen to like my liquid adhesive, and I'm doing this with the box in the scorched flat position. So if you were making boxes like this to pop little gifts in, then you could make these ahead of time and you could just store them in the drawer, all flat, and you could make the decoration to go on top of them separately, and then just when you're ready to give your gift, just put them all together. So that, and I'll close that up. That's looking rather nice, but it's still a bit plain, so I'm going to give it a bit more bling. I'm going to go for a straightforward sentiment, Happy Christmas, and I'm going to be using stamps from Merry Christmas to All, which is a wonderfully versatile set for this time of year. I've given my bit of Merry Merlot cards, I'm remembering to tell you what colour it is this time, a dusting with Embossing Buddy, and I'm just lining up my stamps the way I want them to go. So I want it to be that way around. I want to be able to read it when I put it down. So I'm going to go with the happy kind of off to one side of the word Christmas, and not too bothered about how straight it is because I'm going to cut it out afterwards. But I think that's about right. So I'm just going to pick up the stamps on the plate of my Stamparatus. They're photopolymer stamps, so I've got my foam mat underneath, and I've got a magnet holding the card in place, and now I'm just going to ink up the stamp with a Versamark. Pop that down, and I can see through the plate, so I can see where I need to apply, I think, a little bit more pressure, and that looks pretty good to me. So with my copper embossing powder, okay, that looks good. And now I'm going to heat this. So it's going to get loud. I'm going to turn the sound down, give you music to listen to. I'm going to go and do some cutting out now with my layering ovals dies. I've got a piece of shaded spruce, I've got my stamped and embossed piece, and I've got a piece of champagne foil, and I'm going to need the largest of the scalloped ovals, and then not the largest of the plain ovals, but the next to largest. It's going to be on the green, and then the next size down. Can I get away with the size below that? Not quite. So it's going to be the largest of the scalloped ones, and I'm going to cut that out of champagne foil. I'm going to cut the next to largest of the smooth ovals, and the size below that out of the card. I'm going to go away and do that. Be back in a second. And I am back from the big shot, so it's time to start putting things together. And I'm going to start, I think, by putting a little bit of liquid adhesive onto the back of the Merry Merlot piece, and I'm going to just glue that down onto my little piece of shaded spruce. And you probably noticed on the back of that one that that was a piece that I'd previously stamped and embossed, and what I managed to do was somehow put my finger on it when it was still warm and spoiled the embossing. So I just quickly turned it over and did it again because I have magic two-sided card. Alright, so now that I've done that, okay, so I've got a couple of other little bits of blinginess here. These are bits of the Tranquil Tide glimmer paper that I punched out using the Sprigs punch. So I'm trying to think of here, and that is going to go on top of that. But I'm just trying to think how best to pop these bits out. And I've also got this. This is a knotted ribbon rose that I made, so I want to use that as well. At least I think I do. I might not use it. It might be a bit too much. I don't know. That one might be a bit too big. Maybe I'll make a smaller one. Okay, so these pieces are going to go here and here, I think, like that. So again, a little bit of liquid adhesive, and another little piece of liquid adhesive. Oops. And you're using glimmer paper, so you need to be firm with it. Okay, let that set for just a couple of seconds. And let's have a look how the rose goes on there. It's kind of overshadowing the happy and the happy Christmas. So yeah, I was going to use it. I'm not going to. I'll use it on another project. And if you want to know how to make this kind of rose, then I'll put a link to one of my earlier projects where I've showed you how to make it. But basically, all you do is you take a length of ribbon and you tie knots in it, and you keep tying knots in it until you've got to the end of a piece of ribbon, and then you just wind it up into a rose shape. Bit of hot glue, stick it to a bit of card, and there is your ribbon rose. Okay, but on this occasion, I think it's going to be a little bit too much. So, right, I need to remember to put my gift into my gift box before I seal it up. That would be good. So in goes my little gift. And again, if you want to know how I calculated those measurements, go to my blog, alright, because I will put those details on there for you and explain how I worked out how much I was going to need. Alright, so I'm cutting a length of that. That is all the way around my box. I'm going to put the top back on my adhesive just for a moment before it dries up. And here are my glue dots. Here they are. Stay boy. Okay, so I'm going to put one glue dot on this piece of ribbon. Now this is the double-sided ribbon that is kind of coppery on one side and Merry Merlot on the other. And I've decided that I'm going to use it with the Merry Merlot side up, because I think it looks better on this particular box. But of course, you do whatever you like. So now I'm just bringing those two ends together and sticking them down. There we go. I have a belly band, and I'm going to pop some glue dots Come on, glue dots. You've been friends to me lately, and just all of a sudden they hate me again. Well, I don't know what I've done. I have obviously offended the god of glue dots in some shape or form. Alright, so I'm just going to pop that bit down there, and then this can go on top. And the reason why I'm hanging back is that I'm trying to decide whether to use dimensionals or not. And I think the answer is yes, I'm going to use dimensionals. Where are you? Come here, dimensionals. Dimensionals are my friend. There we go. Would help if I was in shot, wouldn't it? That would be good. You could see things better then. Whoops! Come back. Okay, I've decided I am going to try and make a smaller rose, and if I decide not to use it, well, at least I've shown you how I've done it. So I'm going to take a length of ribbon. In this case, this is about 18 inches. The one that I used last time, I think I had a good 2 feet on there, so I don't need that. I'll put that out of the way. So here is my length of ribbon, and I've decided that I want that side to be on the outside. Doesn't matter for the time being, because I'm just going to start off by just tying a knot at the end. Okay, and I'm trying to get this as close to the end of my piece of ribbon as I possibly can, and I may even make it a double knot. so that I've got something to build my flower on. Alright, so now I'm going to take the ribbon and I'm just going to tie a loose knot, just like that. Alright, I'm not pulling it tight, I'm just pulling it to where it kind of is almost going to form a tight knot, but not quite. And now, because I want to keep the same surface facing outwards, I'm going to turn it over. If I had a double-faced ribbon, I wouldn't need to do that. I could just carry on tying a knot. But because this is single-faced, I've got a different look on either side, then I do want to turn it over. Okay, so same thing again, turn it back, and I'm going to keep on tying knots in the ribbon until I get to the end of it. Here's my ribbon with all of the knots in. I've tied a firm knot at either end, and I'm going to start just winding this around itself. I've got my hot glue gun warming up there, and I've punched out a circle, 1-inch circle of Merry Merlot card, and I'm just keeping the lower edge of the ribbon, trying to just keep that level, and I'm just going to bring that around until I've got a nice rose shape. And I'm going to be generous with the hot glue, and I'm going to spread it all over my circle of card, and I'm going to try to not stick my finger in it, because that would hurt and it would be silly. And I'm just squishing this down, trying to catch both ends in the glue. And there we have a smaller ribbon rose. So there it is, that is my finished project for the Secret Santa Inspiring Blog Challenge. And don't forget to hop on over to my blog. There's a link in the description box below, and from there you can work your way around the hop and see what my teammates have been up to, because I can guarantee that they will have some wonderful inspiration for you. But that is it from me for today. Thank you very, very much for joining me, and don't forget to come back and see me again sometime soon, will you? But for now, bye bye.